Tonight, Rhode Island's House Speaker distancing himself from a letter the McKee administration sent to Hasbro regarding the timeline for their decision on a future headquarters.
The toy company is expected to provide an update on its plans sometime this summer. Kayla Fish breaks down where the two of the state's top elected officials stand. Kayla?
Well, both the governor and House Speaker say they want Hasbro to remain in Rhode Island, but their messages to the company in terms of when they need to make a decision are a contrast.
But I think there's an urgency here.
I wanted to make sure that Hasbro had enough time to make the consideration.
Governor Dan McKee and House Speaker Joe Shekarchi at odds over when Hasbro should make a decision on its future headquarters. The comments come after McKee's chief of staff sent a letter to the toy company April 11th. The letter said while the state remains extremely interested in having Hasbro remain, CEO Chris Cox's plan to make a decision by midsummer would likely defer consideration by the General Assembly of the funding for the headquarters project until January.
We accelerated our plan, which I think is difficult for them to walk away from, but it's got a time frame on it. If there's an action, the General Assembly, which we've been working for, would have to take some level of action.
When someone talks about the General Assembly, I wanted to make sure that I clarified the position, my position, the House's position with Chris Cox.
Shekarchi told 12 News he didn't know about the letter until it was sent and he was CC'd on it. He says he then contacted Cox, the Hasbro CEO, and told him timing isn't a problem.
They're going through a process. I respect that process. I communicated that to Chris Cox, and I said I'm not trying to influence the process, but if you do reach an agreement and we happen to be out of session, I would have no problem calling the General Assembly back into session to ratify anything that we agreed upon.
Governor McKee doubled down on the need to move quickly when 12 News asked him about it Monday.
We only can really tie up our resources for so long before we really need to apply. We need to put those resources to work. We need to put those dollars to work on projects that are going to happen.
We asked Shekarchi whether he thought the letter was a mistake.
I wouldn't classify it as a mistake. I just think that the governor wanted to get his position on record, and I wanted to get my position on record. I think we both want the same thing. We both want Hasbro to stay here.
12 News reached out to Hasbro for comment, but have not yet heard back. All of this comes amid widespread speculation that Shekarchi could run for governor himself next year if McKee steps aside. In studio, I'm Kayla Fish, 12 News.